The adjustable clipper, the heavy lifter. A heavy ergonomic power tool housing a high-torque magnetic or rotary motor. It is the absolute core of the modern barbershop, rapidly driving a steel cutting blade back and forth to aggressively mow down bulk hair with unstoppable, continuous power. Clipper lever, the blend controller. A small, heavy-duty metal or plastic thumb switch mounted on the side of the clipper. Pushing this lever physically slides the bottom cutting blade up or down by mere millimeters. This microscopic adjustment allows the barber to seamlessly erase harsh lines and create a flawless, invisible gradient fade. T-blade trimmer, the line architect. A much smaller, lighter power tool featuring an exposed, extra-wide T-shaped blade. Unlike the heavy bolt clippers, this high-speed tool cuts incredibly close to the skin, used exclusively to carve razor-sharp geometric lines around the forehead, ears, and neck with absolute surgical precision. Foil shaver, the skin smoother, a rectangular power tool featuring two incredibly thin, hyper-fragile gold or titanium mesh foils. Hidden underneath the mesh are rapidly vibrating cutter bars. As the barber rubs the foil against the neck, it captures and cleanly severs the microscopic stubble left behind by the trimmers, bringing the fade entirely down to bald skin. Magnetic clipper guard, the depth shoot, a rigid plastic comb attachment that snaps perfectly over the clipper's steel blade. Instead of using weak plastic clips that could violently snap off mid-haircut, professional guards use embedded rare earth magnets to aggressively lock onto the metal blade, guaranteeing the hair is cut to an exact, mathematically perfect length. Taper blade, the forgiving cutter, the default steel blade bolted to most adjustable clippers. If you look closely from the side, the blade curves slightly upward at the tip. That gentle curve pushes the hair slightly away from the scalp as it cuts, allowing the barber to smoothly rock the clipper outward to easily blend long hair into short hair. Fade blade, the bald eraser. Visually similar to the taper blade, but completely and perfectly flat on the bottom. Because it lacks that forgiving curve, the flat steel rides aggressively close to the skin, designed specifically to erase the harsh, microscopic bottom line of a skin fade where the hair meets absolute baldness. Clipper oil, the friction killer. A small plastic bottle filled with a highly refined, lightweight mineral oil. Clippers oscillate thousands of times a minute. Without this oil, the raw steel blades will violently grind against each other, creating massive amounts of heat, instantly dulling the cutting teeth and permanently destroying the expensive motor. Cooling spray, the instant freeze. A pressurized aerosol can filled with a complex chemical coolant and lubricant. When a busy barber is doing back-to-back haircuts, the steel blades become burning hot to the touch. A 3-second blast of this spray instantly drops the metal to a freezing temperature, while simultaneously blowing out trapped hair and disinfecting the blade. Fade brush, the canvas clearer. A small handheld wooden block packed with incredibly soft boar bristles. When creating a complex skin fade, tiny hair clippings stick to the scalp, creating false shadows. The barber constantly sweeps this soft brush across the head to instantly wipe away the dust, revealing the absolute truth of the blend below. Neck duster, the final sweep. A tall, cylindrical handle flaring out into a massive, plush dome of synthetic or horsehair bristles. Powdered with fine talc, it is used at the absolute end of the service, softly sweeping across the client's neck and shoulders to completely eradicate the itchy, microscopic cut hairs that fall down the cape. Barber Station Mat, the anti-slip foundation. A heavy, thick slab of heat-resistant, grooved PVC rubber. Barbershop counters are incredibly slick, and clippers vibrate violently. This heavy rubber mat physically grips the tools, preventing thousands of dollars of expensive glass mirrors, clippers, and delicate shears from vibrating completely off the counter and shattering on the tile floor. Professional blow dryer, the shape setter, an incredibly loud, heavy-duty electrical turbine housing a high-wattage heating coil. It doesn't just dry wet hair. Barbers use the intense, directed heat to physically break down the temporary hydrogen bonds in the hair shaft, violently forcing the hair to stand up and lock into modern, voluminous styles. Concentrator nozzle, the heat sniper. A flattened, highly heat-resistant plastic funnel that snaps directly onto the front of the blow dryer. Without it, the hot air blows wildly in every direction. This nozzle chokes the massive airflow down to a razor-thin, high-velocity blade of heat, allowing the barber to perfectly sculpt one single section of hair at a time. Hot towel warder, the pore opener. A specialized insulated electrical cabinet glowing with an internal UV sterilizing light. Packed with damp cotton towels, it maintains an exact steaming temperature. When wrapped around the client's face, the intense heat completely relaxes the facial muscles, softens the coarse beard hair, and physically opens the pores for a flawless straight razor shave. Barber Shears, the master blades. Hand-forged from Japanese or German stainless steel. These aren't scissors. They feature a razor-sharp convex edge and a perfectly tensioned pivot screw, allowing the barber to glide through thick hair without ever bending or folding it, creating perfectly blunt, clean lines. Thinning shears, the weight remover. Identical to master shears, but with one blade featuring microscopic razor-sharp teeth. By closing these on a thick section of hair, the teeth catch and cut only 30% of the strands, instantly removing weight and bulk from thick, bushy hair without leaving a blunt, visible line. Straight razor, the ultimate tool. A single, terrifyingly sharp blade of high-carbon steel that folds into a protective handle. It is the sharpest edge in the shop. With a perfectly flat angle against the skin, it glides across the face, slicing coarse beard hair at the absolute base for the cleanest, closest shave possible. The Shavette, the razor's evolution. Visually identical to a straight razor, but housing a replaceable steel blade. In modern hygienic barbershops, professionals use this tool to ensure every single client receives a brand new, sterile edge. It delivers the exact same flawless shave as a traditional razor, but with zero risk of cross-contamination. Blending comb, the clipper bridge. A wide, perfectly flat, heat-resistant plastic comb. Used in the clipper over comb technique, the barber holds this comb flat against the hair to bridge the gap, using the comb as a physical guide to block the clipper blades, preventing them from digging too deep into the fade. Rat tail comb, the sectioner. A fine-toothed comb featuring an impossibly long, needle-thin metal or plastic tail. Instead of using their fingers, the barber uses this long, thin tail to surgically part thick hair into tiny, perfectly straight sections, isolating specific areas for precision cutting or color applications. Duster brush, the stray remover. A small, handheld wooden block packed with incredibly soft boar bristles. During a haircut, thousands of tiny hairs get trapped on the ears and face. The barber uses this to gently sweep across the ears, neck, and cape, removing all stray debris without irritating the client's sensitive skin. Shear Holster, the blade home. A heavy, top-grain leather pouch that clips directly to the barber's belt. Master shears cost hundreds of dollars and have incredibly fragile edges. When not in use, the barber slides the sharpest shears into this protective leather home, keeping them within reach while physically shielding the delicate blades from accidental chips and drops. Shaving brush, the lather builder. A dense, plush knot of badger hair or synthetic fiber set into a heavy resin handle. In a traditional shave, you don't use canned foam. The barber uses this to whip a tiny bit of cream and water into a massive, warm, thick lather, while the bristles physically lift the beard hair up and away from the skin. Shaving bowl, the lather generator. A heavy, hollow bowl made of ceramic, stainless steel, or wood. It isn't just a cup. The interior features tiny cast ridges. The barber rhythmically swirls the shaving brush inside these ridges, creating friction that physically forces the cream to expand into a rich, steaming, warm lather. Barber Cape, the shield. A massive, flowing sheet of lightweight, water-resistant synthetic fabric. Featuring an adjustable neck closure, it physically drapes over the client, acting as a complete waterproof, hair-proof barrier, ensuring the hundreds of thousands of microscopic cut hairs fall to the floor instead of down the client's collar. Neck strip dispenser, the hygienic host. A sleek, heavy plastic housing holding a roll of soft, elasticized paper strips.
Before putting on the cape, the barber pulls one soft paper strip, stretches it, and wraps it around the client's neck. It catches the loose hair and prevents the cape from touching the skin, maintaining perfect hygiene. Atomizer, the refreshing fog. A beautiful vintage-style glass bottle featuring a hand-pumped bulb. Instead of splashing stinging liquid directly on the face, this device forces the aftershave through a tiny nozzle, turning it into a massive, light, refreshing mist that covers the client's face evenly, cooling and soothing the skin post-shave. Barber Chair, the throne. An incredibly heavy, hydraulically powered steel and leather chair. It rotates 360 degrees and pumps vertically with a foot pedal. It is the centerpiece of the shop, built to be indestructible, designed to effortlessly position the client at the exact height the barber needs to work on every single angle of the fade. Honing stone, the blade reviver. A heavy, fine grit rectangular stone. Straight razors dull after just a few shaves. The barber periodically rubs the blade across this abrasive surface to regrind away microscopic nicks and recreate a perfectly uniform, straight as a laser cutting edge, bringing the razor back to its deadly factory sharpness.
Barbicide jar, the virus killer. A heavy glass cylinder housing a bright blue, lethal chemical solution. Barber tools touch hundreds of faces. Every single clipper blade, comb, and shear is dunked into this specialized disinfectant to instantly annihilate microscopic bacteria, viruses, and fungi, ensuring the next client stays completely safe. Disinfectant spray, the surface sterilizer. A pressurized aerosol can filled with a medical-grade surface cleaner. While the jar handles the tools, this spray is used to instantly sanitize the entire barber chair, headrests, and station counters between every single haircut, preventing the transfer of dirt and germs from one client to the next. Talcum powder, the friction reducer. A fine, silky white mineral dust packed into a shaker bottle. Swept onto the client's neck before shave, this fine powder instantly absorbs moisture, drastically reducing friction and preventing the razor from dragging, while leaving the skin feeling incredibly soft and smooth post-service. Shaving cream, the hair softener. A rich, moisturizing emulsion packaged in a pressurized aluminum canister. Unlike cheap soap, this professional formula contains high concentrations of lubricants. When applied, it aggressively softens the coarse beard hair, allowing the razor to cut through without pulling, while providing a thick cushion to protect the skin from nicks. Styptic pencil, the blood stopper. A small, fragile stick of concentrated mineral salts. If a slip of the razor causes a tiny nick, the barber presses this pencil directly onto the wound. It instantly constricts the blood vessels and coagulates the blood, stopping the cut from bleeding in less than 3 seconds. Hair tonic, the scalp stimulant. A glass bottle filled with a fragrant, cooling, alcohol-based liquid. Massaged into the scalp post-cut, it isn't just for the smell. The menthol and alcohol physically stimulate blood flow to the hair follicles, providing a massive, refreshing sensation that energizes the client before they leave the chair. Oil-based pomade, the timeless hold. A heavy, waxy paste made of beeswax and petroleum. This is the original stuff. It never dries out or gets crunchy. It provides a massive, high-shine hold that stays flexible all day, allowing the client to manually recomb their hair into place if it gets messed up in the wind. Matte clay, the invisible stylist. A dense, thick, earth-toned paste packed with clay minerals. Unlike oily pomades that look like grease, this dry clay absorbs shine, making the hair look completely natural, while physically thickening the hair strands to provide a massive, gravity-defying hold that looks like there is nothing in it at all. Beard oil, the follicle nourisher. A small glass bottle filled with rich, nourishing jojoba and argan oils. Coarse beard hair sucks moisture directly from the skin. The barber rubs a few drops of this liquid gold into the beard, instantly hydrating the skin below and softening the hair so it lays flat and feels soft to the touch. Sea salt spray, the texture booster. A spray bottle filled with a water-based solution infused with minerals. When sprayed onto damp hair, it adds a massive amount of volume and gritty natural texture, mimicking the feeling of hair that has spent the entire day at the beach, providing the perfect foundation for natural and messy styles. Hair fibers, the volume fake.
a shaker bottle filled with microscopic statically charged keratin protein dust. For clients with thinning hair, the barber shakes these onto the scalp. The fibers instantly cling to the existing hair, physically thickening every single strand to create the appearance of a massive, dense head of hair in seconds. Aftershave Balm, the skin healer. A white, creamy lotion packaged in a tube. A straight razor shave scrapes away the top layer of skin. This balm is packed with aloe and vitamin E, cooling the fire and aggressively hydrating the raw skin, preventing the dreaded razor burn and red bumps that usually follow a close shave. Barber Powder, the moisture absorber. An ultra-fine talc powder often used with fluffy brush. After a haircut, the neck is often damp with sweat or hair clippings. The barber dusts this over the skin to instantly dry out moisture, preventing the cape from sticking to the neck and ensuring the client leaves the shop feeling bone dry and clean. Clipper Cleaner, the blade maintainer. A pressurized spray specifically formulated to flush out hair and dirt from clipper teeth while providing an instant thin layer of lubricant. If a barber doesn't use this, the blades will overheat, become dull, and start ripping the client's hair. This spray maintains the blade's edge and motor health. Disposable blade, the sterile edge. A microscopic strip of double-honed surgical-grade stainless steel. One edge, one client. Before the straight razor shade begins, the barber pulls this from a sterile sleeve and snaps it into the Shavette. It is the sharpest, cleanest, and most hygienic edge in the entire industry.
The appointment tablet, the schedule master. A slim, high-resolution digital screen mounted to the station. Gone are the paper logbooks. This device instantly syncs bookings, manages complex client history, and accepts contactless payments, allowing the barber to focus entirely on the haircut instead of administration. Tip jar, the professional reward. A heavy, clear glass jar or specialized box. In the service industry, this isn't just about money. It is the direct physical metric of customer satisfaction, rewarding the barber for their attention to detail, impeccable service, and their ability to build a genuine, lasting connection with every client in the chair. Shop mirror, the truth teller. A massive, distortion-free, silver-backed glass panel. This is where the magic is judged. The barber turns the chair to show the client the back of their head. It is the final, high-definition test where the blend, the shape, and the detail are either celebrated or corrected, marking the end of a successful service. Client chair, the throne of comfort. A heavy-duty, ergonomically designed chair featuring high-density foam and durable vinyl. It's not just a seat. Built to keep the client completely stable and comfortable for a full hour of service, it is the foundation upon which the barber builds their art, ensuring both parties can operate at peak performance. Barber Apron, the artisan's uniform. A heavy-duty leather or canvas apron featuring specialized pockets. Normal clothes get ruined by hair and chemicals. This shield protects the barber's clothing, while the reinforced pockets act as a mobile tool belt, keeping their shears, combs, and clips perfectly organized and ready for lightning-fast access. Waste bin, the shop recycler. A heavy industrial-grade metal or plastic bin. A clean shop is a professional shop. Is the final destination for all the hair, used paper strips, and used blades, ensuring the workspace remains sterile and inviting for every single client that walks through the door. Cash register, the commerce hub, a secure, modern digital terminal, or POS. Barbering is a high-volume business. This system flawlessly tracks transactions, manages inventory, and stores revenue securely, serving as the heartbeat of the shop's financial health and business success. Waiting chair, the patient's lounge, a comfortable chair or bench designed for the client before their session. First impressions start here. It provides a welcoming, patient environment, signaling to the client that their time is respected and their comfort is a priority. Even before they sit in the barber's chair. Shop clock, the rhythm keeper. A large, clear analog or digital clock on the wall. Barbering is timed, scheduled, and precise. Every service is budgeted in minutes. This clock is the ultimate authority, keeping the barber on track and ensuring every client gets the full, uninterrupted service they paid for. Name tag, the identity badge. A simple, clean, engraved name tag pinned to the apron. Personal connection is vital. This tag builds trust and familiarity, allowing the client to know who they're speaking to and creating a personal, accessible bond between the professional and the individual in the chair. Barber Pole, the historic signifier, the iconic rotating red, white, and blue cylinder. Originally representing blood, bandages, and veins, today it is the universal symbol of the craft, immediately signaling to every person on the street exactly what happens inside. Invoicing Pad, the professional record. A simple, crisp booklet of custom-branded carbonless invoice forms. Professionalism is in the details. Used for high-end grooming packages, this pad provides a clean, professional paper trail, offering the client a clear, formal record of their services and costs, ensuring full business transparency. Staff Locker, the personal zone. A sturdy, metal, lockable storage compartment. Even professionals need a space. This locker provides the barber with a private, secure zone for their personal belongings, keeping the shop floor impeccably clean, organized, and focused entirely on the client. Feedback card, the growth catalyst. A clean, simple printed card requesting feedback. You're only as good as your last cut. The barber uses this to genuinely request honest feedback, viewing every comment as a direct tool for improvement and excellence in their craft. Logo in shop, the professional mark. A custom-made, high-quality logo displayed in the shop. A barbershop is a brand. This signage marks the professional territory, instantly establishing the shop's identity and reputation for high-quality service and attention to every detail in the client experience.